chapter, remember, we divided motion into these categories. Yes. And then motion we divided into three categories. That is motion with constant velocity, motion with constant velocity. What was the next one?
Sir, it's constant acceleration.
Next one?
Motion.
Yeah, motion with constant acceleration. What is the next one?
Motion with variable acceleration.
Motion with variable acceleration. Motion with the variable acceleration. Acha, these three together we call it as motion. Acha, so first you should be able to identify which is rest, which is constant velocity motion, which is constant acceleration motion, and which is variable acceleration motion. I will not repeat it because this I have already discussed in previous chapters, right? है ना? Velocity अगर पहले 0 है, एक second के बाद it becomes 3, after one more second it becomes 6, after one more second it becomes 9, after one more second it becomes 12. What kind of motion this is?
So constant velocity. Constant velocity.
ना constant कहाँ बढ़ तो रहा है? Velocity initially it's 0, then after 1 second it becomes 3 meter per second, after 1 second it becomes 6 meter per second, after 1 second it becomes 9 meter per second, after 1 second it becomes 12 meter per second. How is velocity constant? It's increasing, na?
Yes, sir.
It's increasing, na? So what kind of motion it is?
Constant acceleration.
Here velocity is increasing by same amount, by equal amount. So it's constant acceleration. But let's say the velocity is initially 0. After 1 second it is 3 meter per second. After 2 seconds it becomes 1 meter per second. Then after 1 second it becomes 4 meter per second. After 1 second it becomes 10 meter per second. After 1 second it becomes 15 meter per second. After 1 second it becomes 3 meter per second. Achha, what kind of motion this is?
Variable acceleration.
So this is variable acceleration. So like that. So we should be able to identify. Achha, let's say the velocity is constant. It's let's say 3 meter per second every time. And that is motion with constant velocity. Now before Newton came, people thought first the wrong idea. Before Newton came, people thought rest means no force. Force is required. Motion means force is required. Motion means force is required. Now, people thought it like that before Newton. समझे क्या? Before Newton came, people thought if you don't apply any force, then the body will be at rest. If you apply force, then the body will be in motion. Or if you are seeing that a body is at rest, that means force is not acting in it, not acting on it. If you are seeing that a body is moving, that means force should be acting on it. That's why it is moving. Understood? Before Newton came, what people thought?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Achha, now, Newton said, no, it's not like that. Newton said like this. Newton said, for both this is Newton's idea. Newton said, for both this, no force. And for both these, force is required. Force is required. This is whose idea? This is Newton's idea. This is Newton's idea. So Newton said rest and constant velocity motion. For both this, no force is required. Accelerated motion, for accelerated motion, force is required. Understood the difference? Understood
Yes,
the difference? Newton
Yes, sir.
and others. So that basically where to keep that motion with constant velocity. That was problem with people. People were not understanding that motion with constant velocity doesn't require any force. that people were thinking, force is required for that. So now if you have understood, then you will answer now true and false type of questions. Let's say question, you have to tell me true or false. Force is required for producing motion. True or false?
False.
Force is required for producing motion. Force is required for producing motion. Achha, I think Kishori Naik is having some problem in joining. False. Why? Why false?
The motion with constant
velocity is not required force.
Yeah, so motion with constant velocity doesn't require any force. Yeah. If a body is at rest, that means force must not be acting on it. True or false? If a body is at rest, that means force must not be acting on it. True or false?
True.
True. Yes. If a body is moving with constant velocity, force must not be acting on it.
True.
True or false?
True.
Force is required for producing accelerated motion. True or false?
True.
Force is required to produce accelerated motion.
True. True.
Acha, where is Leelapati? Where is Leelapati?
True.
Answer true. True. Yes. So it's true. It's true. So you see, motion with constant acceleration or motion with variable acceleration. Acceleration to hai na. So these are called as motion with accelerated motion. These are accelerated motion. So for accelerated motion, force is required. Acha. Force is required to produce constant velocity motion. True or false? False. तो यही है डिफरेंस बिटवीन न्यूटन एंड आफ्टर न्यूटन, है ना. तो टोटल 4 केसेस हैं. बिफोर न्यूटन केम, पीपल थॉट नो फोर्स मींस 1 केस, फोर्स इज रिक्वायर्ड मींस 3 केसेस. न्यूटन से नो, फर्स्ट 2 केसेस नो फोर्स, है ना. नेक्स्ट 2 केसेस फोर्स. एनीवे, आप भूल जाओ न्यूटन से पहले लोग क्या कहते हैं, यू नो. नाउ यू ओनली रिमेंबर आफ्टर न्यूटन. तो वी आर स्टडीइंग न्यूटन्स लॉज. ठीक है, we'll continue Newton's laws. How many laws Newton gave? How many laws Newton gave? Means in this chapter, how many laws Newton gave?
3 laws.
याद है ना? हाँ, three laws. तो लिखो. आज लिखेंगे, समझेंगे. न्यूमेरिकल्स देखते हैं कितना हो पाएगा, नहीं तो अगली बार कर लेंगे न्यूमेरिकल्स. लेकिन फर्स्ट समझना जरूरी है. तो न्यूटन्स फर्स्ट लॉ. So what is Newton's first law? So Newton's first law tells that understand it. Newton's first law tells that what is the natural state of a body. So the natural state of a body is that it wants to stay. Natural state means when no force is acting. Then how the body wants to stay? When no force is acting, how the body wants to stay. This is Newton's first law. So Newton tells when no force is acting on it, then the body wants to continue its natural state of rest or uniform velocity motion. ये natural state है. When no force is acting, the body can either stay at rest or it will continue to move with uniform velocity. There won't be any acceleration. There will not be any acceleration. This is the natural state. So Newton's first law talks about this. है ना. इसको आप उल्टा भी सोच सकते हो. If you are observing that some body is at rest, that means force is not acting on it. Force is not acting on it, or you can tell total force acting on it is 0. है ना. There is no force acting on it, means really there is not even a single force acting on it, or maybe there are 4-5 forces acting, but then 4-5 forces taken together is producing 0 resultant. Net force is 0. So Newton's first law talks about that. No force is acting, or maybe some forces are acting, but they are getting cancelled out, and net force is 0. Then how the body will stay? So then the body will remain at rest or move with constant velocity. या फिर उल्टा, if you are observing that the body is at rest, the body is moving with constant velocity, the body is not accelerating, that means write equation for this, net force is 0. How many of you understood this Newton's first law? Raise your hand. So now the remaining thing is, okay, what if the body is accelerating, or you can tell, okay, when no force is acting, then the body remains at rest or constant velocity, velocity wala motion. What if some force is acting on it? Then Newton tells, if force acts on it, then there will be acceleration. So how much will be acceleration? Then Newton tells, force by mass. Acceleration equal to force by mass, or force equal to m into a. This is Newton's second law. Now, दुनिया में और कोई केस बच गया क्या? हो गया ना पूरा? Like that son said, I only drink in 2 occasions. First when it rains, and second when it doesn't rain. हो गया? So you look around you, either the body will be at rest or constant velocity. Then write an equation for that. What kind of equation? Net force acting on it is 0. And if you observe that the body is moving with constant acceleration, or some acceleration is there, acceleration, let it be a. If you see that the acceleration is a, then write an equation for it, F equal to ma. In this way, for every question you can write an equation. For every question you can write an equation. कितने लोगों को ये समझ में आया कि अरे हाँ, हम सारे चीजों के लिए इक्वेशन लिख सकते हैं? हाथ उठाओ. अच्छा, शुभश्री, विजयलक्ष्मी, इप्सिता, लीलावती, आकांक्षा, अभिजीत, आशीर्वाद, भव्या, श्रावणी, ईशानी, सौम्या तपस्विनी, कमलेश साहू, कमलेश पात्र, स्वयं सिद्ध. अच्छा, so स्वयं सिद्ध is there. स्वयं सिद्ध, are you able to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. तो अभी ये न्यूटन्स फर्स्ट लॉ सेकंड लॉ को आपको थोड़ी ना बोर्ड एग्जाम में लिखना है, बस अपने हिसाब से याद कर लो, इसमें स्टेटमेंट देने की क्या जरूरत है. तो व्हाट इज न्यूटन्स फर्स्ट लॉ? इट टॉक्स व्हेन नो फोर्स इज एक्टिंग, राइट? इट टॉक्स अबाउट व्हेन no force is acting. So when no force is acting, then this one. तो if you are observing, तो इसका एप्लीकेशन क्या है? इसका एप्लीकेशन इज, if you observe a body to be at rest or moving with constant velocity, then form equation. किस तरह का इक्वेशन लिखोगे इसके लिए? ऐसे इक्वेशन लिखो, net force on it is 0. I will tell more about this after some time. Now let's just understand. And then there is Newton's second law. Newton's second law. So Newton's second law, it talks when a force acts on it. So what happens when a force acts on a body? So then what happens? Then it accelerates. Simple. Then it accelerates. Achha, if the force is constant force, then the acceleration will be constant. If the force is variable force, then the acceleration will be variable. But force means acceleration. No force means no acceleration. That's how it is. So then it accelerates. तो इसके लिए इक्वेशन क्या होगा? इसके लिए इक्वेशन होगा नेट फोर्स इक्वल टू m into a, है ना? Actually Newton did not tell F equal to ma, net force equal to ma, or F equal to ma. This is a total force. F means let's say total force. Newton did not tell F equal to ma. What Newton said? Actually Newton said like this. Newton said F equal to dp by dt. What he said? dp by dt. What is p? P is momentum. Momentum means m into v. Now, you know differentiation? Mass is constant. So if mass is constant, take it out. So it's dp by dt. So what is dp by dt? A. So that's how this equation comes. So if you know differentiation, then you will understand. So actually Newton had said this much. Newton had said this much, but this means this. So we use this one. All right, na? All right, na? We use this one for this chapter. केते जन को बुझा पड़िला ए सब हाथ उठा. Okay. Actually, what if m is not constant? What if m is not constant? If m is not constant, here I have assumed m is constant, and here I have assumed m is constant. What if m is not constant? If m is not constant, तो फिर देखो ये कैसा होगा. dp by dt, this equal to d by dt of mv. अच्छा, you know product rule, d by dt of uv, it's
Yes, sir.
u into dp by dt plus b into du by dt. So this will become like m into dp by dt plus b into dm by dt. Then it will become like this. Then it will become like this. And this if m is variable. If m is variable. And so anyway, let's not go into this. Let's remember this. Sometimes we will go to that later. So I hope Newton's first law and Newton's second law are clear to you. So when to apply Newton's first law? When you see that the body is at rest or the body is moving with constant velocity. Then how to form the equation? The equation should be net force equal to 0. Achha, when to apply second law? If you see that a body is accelerating. Achha, how to apply that equation or how to form the equation? The equation is F equal to ma. Achha, how to identify whether you know it is the velocity is constant or it, acceleration is there, acceleration is constant or acceleration is variable? How to identify that? For that we have studied first chapter. पहले उसी को समझना है. Velocity, how things are connected. Now to tell you the truth, generally most of the time people they pass class 11th, class 12th, and after 12th also many times they pass one more year. Then also if you ask them, you know, can you tell difference between displacement, distance, average velocity, instantaneous velocity, average speed, instantaneous speed, average velocity, speed, instantaneous velocity, instantaneous speed, average acceleration, instantaneous acceleration? Many students won't be able to answer this. Now think for yourself, all of you have completed class 12th. How many of you were knowing all these terms and that there are slight differences and direction of velocity, direction of acceleration, and you know, rest and equilibrium, they are different things. How many of you know this? Means how many of you were knowing this? Isn't it? But this is actually, these things will be taught in class 9th to understand the difference between velocity and acceleration, because acceleration first time comes in class 9th physics. But still students, even after completing 12th class, they don't know what is velocity, what is acceleration, right? So somehow in our education system they don't teach properly. But anyway, यहाँ क्यों आ गया? हाँ. So the point is how things are connected. So if you cannot identify what kind of motion it is, how you will apply Newton's law? है ना? तो आपको अगर पहले समझ में नहीं आएगा, यू नो, मोशन को आइडेंटिफाई करना है कि ये किस तरह का मोशन है, न्यूटन्स लॉ आप कैसे लगा पाओगे? नहीं लगा पाओगे. तो उसके बिना न्यूटन्स लॉ पढ़ना बेकार है. Are all of you understand? Do you understand how topics are connected and how Newton's law or this topic cannot be really completed without understanding previous topics? Raise your hand. Okay. So therefore I always tell students to go through a sequence. If you don't go through sequence, then you won't understand.
सर जो f इक्वल टू dp बाई dt, तब f इक्वल टू m dv बाई dt. सर dv बाई dt तो हमें मोशन विथ वेरिएबल एक्सेलरेशन रे पड़ी थिले. सर एटा कोन कांस्टेंट एक्सेलरेशन पे अप्लाई परिबो?
dv by dt means what? Change of velocity, है ना? dv by dt means change of velocity. Change of velocity means acceleration. Now how that velocity is changing, whether the velocity is changing equal amount in equal time or unequal amount in equal time, हर एक सेकंड में वेलोसिटी चेंज हो रहा है, मतलब एक्सेलरेशन हो रहा है. नाउ हर एक सेकंड में कितना चेंज हो रहा है? सेम अमाउंट चेंज हो रहा है कि कभी ज्यादा कभी कम चेंज हो रहा है, उसके ऊपर डिपेंड करेगा ये कांस्टेंट एक्सेलरेशन होगा कि वेरिएबल एक्सेलरेशन होगा. बट dv by dt मींस एक्सेलरेशन. समझे?
Yes, sir.
dv by dt does not mean variable acceleration. dv by dt means acceleration. Now that acceleration can be constant, acceleration can be variable, depending on how the velocity is changing. Is the velocity changing equal amount in equal time or different amount in equal time? Got it?
Yes, sir.
ଆଉ କାହାର କିଛି ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ଅଛି? ଓକେ, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ନିୟମ ବାକି ରହିଗଲା, ନ୍ୟୁଟନ୍ସ ଥର୍ଡ ଲ. चलो so Newton's third law is about so Newton's first law is about, you know what is the, it's about natural state of a body, right? It's about natural state of a body, natural state of a body. Acha, net force equal to 0, this is also called as equilibrium, है ना? नेट फोर्स इज 0, दिस इज आल्सो कॉल्ड एज इक्विलिब्रियम. तो न्यूटन्स फर्स्ट लॉ को स्टेटमेंट में हम ऐसे बोलते हैं कि ए बॉडी एट रेस्ट रिमेन्स एट रेस्ट एंड ए बॉडी इन मोशन कंटिन्यूज टू मूव विद कांस्टेंट वेलोसिटी अनलेस अंटिल एक्सपेल्ड बाय सम एक्सटर्नल फोर्स. बाहर से जब तक आप फोर्स नहीं लगाओगे देन द बॉडी डज नॉट चेंज इट्स स्टेट, it remains in its initial state. What is that initial or natural state? Rest or constant velocity. And it doesn't want to change its state by itself. Force लगेगा तभी उसका natural state change होगा. So this law is also called as law of inertia. Law of inertia. Got it? Why it is called as law of inertia? जब तक बाहर से force नहीं लगेगा तब तक वो अपना state change नहीं करेगा. कौन सा state? Rest व constant velocity वाला state. है ना? So that is called as inertia, laziness. Okay. And second law talks about what happens when force acts. Achha, third law talks about how do bodies apply force on each other. How do bodies apply force on each other? तो न्यूटन्स थर्ड लॉ के लिए सबसे पहले आपको फोर्सेस के बारे में थोड़ा समझना होगा. फोर्सेस, तो फोर्सेस, so let's understand forces. These are small things, but these things matter. Acha, I think Bhavya was asking question before some days, and I had said him, wait someday, I will teach you all these things. So Bhavya, remember, be careful now. This is answer to your question. Acha, how many of you remember the list of forces? चलो बताओ, दुनिया में कितने तरह के forces हैं और क्या क्या है, बताओ. Who can answer?
Sir.
इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक नहीं, पहले नंबर बता दो, उसके बाद काउंट करके गिनूंगा मैं. Tell me how many forces are there? Or forces can be classified into how many categories? How many categories of forces are there? बताओ.
Four.
अच्छा. Someone said 4. अच्छा, what are the 4 categories? Tell me. What are the 4 categories? 1, 2, 3, 4. चलो बताओ.
Gravitational force.
अच्छा, gravitational force,
Electromagnetic force.
Weak nuclear
force. Strong nuclear force.
अच्छा, gravitational force, electromagnetic force, अच्छा, then
Strong nuclear force.
and weak nuclear force. अच्छा, strong nuclear force
weak
and
nuclear force.
weak nuclear force. अच्छा. अच्छा, तो फिर ये कूलम्ब्स फोर्स क्या है, नॉर्मल रिएक्शन क्या है, फ्रिक्शन क्या है, वेयर डू दे फिट? फ्रिक्शन के बारे में आपने बताया नहीं. बॉयंट फोर्स के बारे में बताया.
Friction is electromagnetic force. Tension, normal reaction, it is also electromagnetic force.
Correct. So then under that electromagnetic force, under this category, we have got so many forces. What are the forces? So write down. Electrostatic force, electrostatic force or Coulomb's force, then magnetic force, then spring force, then tension, then normal reaction, then friction, है ना? देखो, today you must remember this sequence, and throughout 2 years, as long as you remain connected to me, you must remember this list. Every time I start solving a question, I will start thinking from this step. What are the forces acting on this body? And whenever you are trying to solve some question, always think in terms of force. Start thinking how the body is moving. What are the forces acting? What are the energies involved here? If you start thinking in this way, every question can be solved. कैसे सोचना है? क्या बताया हमें? 3 things I say. How the body is moving? What are the forces acting? Which are the energies involved here? Which energy is getting converted into which energy? These are the ways in which you should think. Repeat it. Who can repeat? Who can repeat? Yes, who can repeat? In every chapter, how you should think. I said now. Vijay Lakshmi, where are you?
Yes, sir.
How to think in every question?
Sir,
Whenever you see a new question.
so what are the force acting on it, or what are the external force acting on it?
What else you should think? What are the energies involved here? Energy है ना, आगे पढ़ेंगे. Kinetic energy, potential energy, electrostatic potential energy, magnetic energy. And what else? How the body is moving. है ना?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, ऐसे सोचना है हर चैप्टर का क्वेश्चन को. अच्छा, ठीक है. So these are the forces acting on it. Okay, now you must remember when these forces are acting, how much these forces are acting, and in which direction these forces are acting. Getting it? Now we must remember when this force acts, how much it acts, and where it and in which direction it acts. So now let's study when or on whom, on which body. Second, how much, or magnitude, and next is direction. You must remember these 3 things for each force. तो चलो बताओ. Gravitational force, on which body it acts or when it acts? Think about each force. Gravitational force, on which body it acts? देखो simple question है, but clear हो जाओ. If you are clear in this, we are ready to give so much time, as much time required for this. But be clear. Yes, who can tell? Gravitational force, on which body it acts? Okay, चलो बताओ मुझे.
Every mass applies gravitational force on other mass.
अच्छा, acting on me? Is gravitational force acting on me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, who is applying? Who is
Sir.
applying gravitational force on me?
So it is
The
a
Earth.
center. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
if gravitational force is acting on me, who is applying? Who is applying on gravitational force on me? Who
Sir,
applies on
Earth.
whom?
Earth.
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 The Earth.
Earth.
Acha. Is moon not applying gravitational force on me? Is sun
Yes.
not applying gravitational force on me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Sir,
Chalo,
yes, sir.
yes or no batao. Is moon not applying gravitational force on me?
No, sir, applying.
Applying na? Acha.
No,
Is
sir.
sun not
Yes, sir.
applying? Is sun not applying gravitational force on me?
Sir, applying.
Applying.
Okay, then how many gravitational forces are acting on me? कौन कौन लगा रहे हैं मेरे ऊपर gravitational force पे?
Earth,
अच्छा,
sun, moon.
अच्छा, Earth, Sun, Moon. So three gravitational forces. Only 3 gravitational force, or some fourth one is also there. Think. How many gravitational forces are acting on me? Acha, I am holding a pen in my hand. Is gravitational force acting on this pen?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Who is
sir.
applying?
The Earth.
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 Acha, is my mobile applying gravitational force on my pen?
No,
No,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
yes, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
everybody has a gravitational force.
Sir, everyone. Sir.
Everybody has gravitational force, or everybody applies gravitational force, or everybody experiences gravitational force? Tell properly. Use the right word.
Everybody has.
Everybody applies gravitational force on others.
One person at a time. First, Ipsita will tell. Yes.
Sir, everybody applies gravitational force on other body.
Acha. So the right understanding is every object in this universe applies gravitational force on every other object in this universe. What did I say? Every object in this universe applies gravitational force on every other object in this universe. अच्छा, एक्चुअली आज कुछ न्यूमेरिकल्स नहीं है, लिखने विखने का कुछ है नहीं, तो चलो वीडियो ऑन करके बात करते हैं, है ना? विल कंटिन्यू दिस थ्योरी. आज का नया टॉपिक समझ में आ रहा है? न्यूटन्स फर्स्ट लॉ, सेकंड लॉ, थर्ड लॉ तो पढ़ाए नहीं, बट एटलीस्ट लिस्ट ऑफ द फोर्सेस, रिमेंबर दिस लिस्ट ऑफ फोर्सेस. आज का अगर किसी का कुछ क्वेश्चन है तो पूछ सकते हो, अदरवाइज लेट्स स्टॉप हियर. एनी क्वेश्चंस?
No, sir.